Did you know there's another Minecraft update coming out this month? A lot of people don't, based on this comment from Shannon Graves, because they say, speaking of features, I thought trapdoor crawling was supposed to be added to Bedrock with this update, referring of course to 1.20, but they're actually a feature from 1.20.10, and if you're not familiar with minor versions, then let me explain, because they are a way for Minecraft to update the game between those major versions. This allows them usually to do a lot of bug fixing, but the first minor version after an update is where they can slide in features that didn't quite make it. So for the Never update, that included the Piglin Brute, while 1.17 added candles and 1.19 had the alley duplication. So what is going to be found in 1.20.10 and when is it coming out? Here is the answer to both of those questions, but if you want to stay up to date with the latest, please do subscribe to the channel. It is something I would appreciate a lot, but also allows you to know what's going on with the latest Minecraft updates, because there have been a couple of betas in the last couple of weeks that have mostly focused on bug fixing, but they've also added quite an interesting new feature that you'll see as soon as I break my first log in this world. Wow, new recipe unlocked. Check your recipe book. That's incredibly interesting. It will now tell you when you unlock new recipes, and that is a really weird experimental feature that won't be in the full update, but you'll be able to turn on as an experiment. Oh, I spawned next to a baby wolf. Cute. Almost as cute as what's found in the rest of this update, because it's not just changes to the way that you unlock recipes, it's changes to quite a few of them. One of those recipes is incredibly interesting because you notice this barrel right here is not made of sticks anymore. The barrel has changed, and also you'll notice the boat isn't here for some reason. I guess we'll make one ourselves. It's not one of the options there, but we totally can. And wow, you cannot make it with a shovel anymore, even if you want to. It requires just 5 planks. So does that mean that 1.20.10 really is just the barrels and boats update? Well, as far as that means parity in the many ways that it affects, sort of, yes, but it also is going to bring in the short sneaking toggle, the short, crouching. It's going to be a lot of fun things, and these are all going to be interesting options, but there is also going to be the changes to skulk sensors. They are going to become triggered by a lot more bizarre actions. Here is the full list. It is very confusing, but the fun way to summarize that is this comment from Toby on a Tabe, who says, I love when I rotate a salmon and the warden spawns. 1.20.10 is the best update, and this is technically possible after it, so if you love or hate that, keep in mind that's what this update will now bring. Anyway, that's what this update will fix, but now let's talk about when it's going to fix it. You might have noticed I gave a date earlier in the video, and the reason for that is because there was a brand new beta earlier this week that mostly was just bug fixes, and I usually don't cover betas that are just pure bug fixes, because those are the sorts of things you probably care about most when the update comes out, and so I only tend to do previews that have brand new fresh features, but that is looking like it might be the last set of bug fixes for 1.20.10, and there is a general 2-week wait between the end of an update going into betas and the final update releasing in general. This can be a bit higher for major updates like Tails and Trails, and it can be slightly smaller for minor bug fixes, but that means that given that Minecraft tends to release updates on Tuesdays, this update will be coming out potentially as soon as next Tuesday. I think the 20th is possible, just not likely. The 27th is likely, but not guaranteed, and it could be coming out as late as the 3rd or the 10th if they decide to add more features or bug fixes to this. However, they generally try to get this first minor update out as fast as they can, and that is why I'd expect that you will be seeing this update in potentially 10 days or less. This will not be announced anywhere until the day that it comes out, so look forward to a Tuesday soon where a few new features will come. Most excitingly to me though is the new boat recipe. No longer do we need a shovel. This changes everything. A boat recipe is 1 recipe rather than 3, and what is not to love about that? Anyway, speaking of what not to love, Thomas Grillo says this update was such a letdown. You can't do anything useful with sniffers or camels. You can't do anything with the pots. The loot from the sus gravel/sand is practically useless. What's the point? It was instantly not fun and not worth the effort. Thanks for the video though. So I thought this comment was interesting because they aren't just hating on everything. They say they appreciate the video, they just don't appreciate the update. And I think this is a really interesting perspective to have because a few people do have this, and it is fair to say that things in Minecraft should be useful. Some people argue that a camel can just be interesting by looking at it by itself, but I think the camel is an interesting useless mob as far as you can ride it. Compare it to pandas or compare it to parrots, and it actually comes across quite favorably in my opinion. However, I would totally concede that it's technically useless. It's the classic Mojang just needs to add a useless mob every update so that after 10 updates we have 50 mobs or 100 mobs and we can say, wow, look how full of life it is. Some people like that, but it's not for me, and I agree with you on that. However, I do actually vehemently disagree with people who say the loot from sus gravel/sand is useless. Archaeology and sniffers are dumb, because sniffers are a fun, self-contained farm to make that can give you some rare plants. Most plants in Minecraft you get by exploring, but for the sniffer, you have to go out and find something rare, actually in that suspicious sand from earlier, and then you have to use those sniffers to get this fun thing happening. The sniffer farm is an interesting design if you want to make it, but even just keeping them around still results in a much more intriguing way of getting these seeds, and because they can't just be bone milled and copied that way, there actually is some actual skill that you can show by having a bunch of them, or some effort that you can put in there, and I think that is an interesting enough gameplay mechanic. I think the other criticism I see a lot is from people like Matt Muselic, who says, I think the thing which is most frustrating about the update is how much there seems to be, but how quickly you're able to check each major feature off a list. Not to mention, I really wish there were a way to duplicate shards, and I have to say, this sounds like it makes sense. When you hear there are just 16 trims plus the netherite upgrade, and then there are just 20 pottery shards, and you find them by doing archaeology, wow, it's so easy to run across these, and that would be assuming that all you do in your world is archaeology, but even then, you have to find the structures, which are rare, you have to look around the entire thing, hope you get lucky, and so in reality, it takes a really long time before you can actually check them all off in an actual Minecraft world. I do understand that the sorts of people who follow YouTubers do have a slight bias towards being more power Minecraft players, but even then, I did a YouTube poll and I asked how many of the new trims have you gotten after a week of 1.20, and 88% of people said they had somewhere between 0 and 5. And bear in mind how easy some of the trims are to get. Shipwrecks and pillager outposts are very easy hotspots, but even then, very few people have 5 or above. In fact, just 1 in 9 players do, because the other 8 in 9 are busy doing all of the other Minecraft stuff at the same time. This is just a fun addition to your world, which I do think, you know, like ignoring the point about duplicating shards, I think the fact that they're rare kind of is the point of them to some extent. It would be nice eventually to duplicate them, but I guess there is an interesting point that you can just go around and tick off the features in this update. I mean, if you look at the cave update, or you look at the Nether update, or village and pillage, you wouldn't just say like, oh yeah, tick this all off in an afternoon, it's done now. People are still, you know, I think most people still haven't made a max level trading villager for every villager in 1.14. I think not everyone has taken every single thing from the Nether update, and I think the same is probably not true of this one. You can complete 1.20, you could have everything in not an unreasonable amount of time, which is the big downside to not having the massive game-changing wide updates like the Nether update was. This is something I'm very curious as to what 1.21 will do, which is of course the next major update. We'll be hearing about it in a few months, but probably not too much over the summer, because they're currently working on it and probably getting the biggest concepts and prototypes finished, which gets me incredibly curious. But you know what else gets me incredibly curious? This comment, which wasn't in English originally, had to be translated, saying update the Minecraft legacy, and as much as I love Minecraft updates, I can tell you that they're not updating legacy Minecraft anymore. In fact, the reason we, the bigger proof of this, besides 4J Studios moving on to another game, is the fact that when Minecraft added Bedrock to consoles, it was with an explicit provision that only bug fix updates would be allowed for the older console editions. And this means that 4J Studios has been spending the time they would have spent working on title update 138 on working on whatever their new game is. I am incredibly curious about that. I heard a really surprising number of people say that they think that it's going to be a racing game because they're on the couch and they're going like that, but I think that's just the Minecraft trailer. However, enough people have said that, and it makes me think, well, all the building materials they have in their hands, maybe that's because you build your own carts, and so a kart racer where you build your own stuff maybe is an interesting enough idea. I think that Banjo, in fact, one of the games they worked on, Banjo-Kazooie, right, Banjo-Tooie, actually had that in there, but I think what would be maybe even more interesting, okay, this is the crazy idea they totally don't have the IP rights for, because they would have said somewhere before now, Minecraft's a mega marketing machine. What if it's a Minecraft kart racing game? We have a Minecraft Diablo style game, we have a Minecraft RTS, we had a Minecraft Pokemon Go, why don't we have a Minecraft Mario Kart? And I'm 100% sure that's not the case. But I'm looking forward to learning fairly soon. Again, we'll share that with you as soon as I can. Again, this is just one of those pure points of curiosity. It could be that it's something that it comes out and no one cares, but I think that whatever 4J is working on next has a lot of expectations, which especially on themselves. Speaking of having a lot of expectations, why do we keep getting update where there are new Java features that don't get added to Bedrock? For example, on Java, you can manage how weak or strong the enchantment glint is on your tools and armor. That was made so the armor trims wouldn't always have to be purple and get in your way, which is a great feature, but not on Bedrock, which really sucks, and you know what? let me change your life right now. So here I am in Minecraft with slightly enchanted boots and a slightly enchanted pickaxe. As you can see, it has glint on it, but if you go to the settings, then right here in accessibility, alongside everything else, you'll also see glint strength and glint speed. You could set this to 100 and 100. I want to see what that looks like, honestly, which looks like this. Ooh. I like that quite a bit, actually. Or you could go the exact opposite way with 0 and 0, which makes it look like it's entirely unenchanted. Genuinely, I don't think you could tell this diamond pickaxe from an unenchanted one by looking at it. You'd only be able to tell by hovering over it with that fun little tooltip. And so this is something you might want to go with. Seriously, yeah, you genuinely could not tell, right? Is this trident enchanted? Who knows for sure? So I recommend somewhere in between. I went for about 50-50 just to be lazy and not decide. But if you want more or less enchanted stuff, that option is available in Bedrock. It's just an accessibility rather than in video for some reason. I do think there are a lot of problems in 1.20, and that's why I think it'd be fun to like go through the top 5 worst, but I also think there are so many great things about this update. I'm very, very passionate, and so I kind of wanted to, after I said I'd do the top 5 worst, go through the top 5 best things in this update. And so, at Harrison's suggestion, I feel like it'd be fun to do both of them on the same day, go through the very best and the very worst at the same time, so I look forward to seeing you on that for tomorrow, Monday, very soon, because there are so many interesting things in this update that people discount, but also too many bizarre decisions to count. Oh, that's fun. Before we go, I'd like to show this comment from HeroBrian3426, who says Toycat is the type of person to make 500 videos on one update and somehow make good content. And the reason for this, I want to just show this on screen because it was quite a nice compliment. 122 people agreed with it, and I just wanted to say thank you for that personally. But I also want to say why it is that I make so many videos about updates. In fact, why my Let's Play is called The Update Adventures. It's because I really do enjoy Minecraft stuff and doing things, but I also really like novelty. I think everyone has this novelty bias. New things are better than old things, but I really love to play around with the newest features in a given update. Making the sniffer farm yesterday, genuinely super fun. Going out and I'm going to try and find as many trail ruins as I can. It's going to be super fun. I'm looking forward later today to getting thousands of the new cherry, I want to get the, the new cherry leaves on the ground, the pink blossoms. I want to get thousands of those so I have endless pink dye. I want to do these fun things, and the updates encourage me to do it. I really do enjoy updates. I know it is a fun thing to cover here on the channel, but it is something I believe super strongly about, which is why I love the best of the best features, and I want to go through the top 5 of those clearly, but also why when the update comes short of expectations, like with the cherry sapling trade, why didn't they add it? Why can the Wandering Trader only access 1.19 features? I figured it would be maybe a fun thing to go through, and that is something coming super soon, either tomorrow or Monday, depending on how long it takes to edit together. But either way, I'm gonna have to go off and do that, and I'm gonna leave you right after I water my plant. Seriously, I bought that like a month ago, and I only watered it in the 4J video on Thursday, so I'll give it a bit more water now, and that should cancel out the month of neglect, right? Yeah, this plant's getting water as consistently as my streaming schedule. That is to say, apparently daily right now, because there's an update and I'm having fun with it, and I'll see you later for that. Goodbye.